Michael, great to speak with you here. Let's start out with the big picture and these console sales, which seem to have flagged. What should we expect for the new year in gaming writ large?
It's pretty unreliable data that comes out of Circana, and by that I mean they get accurate data, but they get physical only. So their hardware numbers are perfect, but their software numbers are literally probably between 20 and 30% of total, and they extrapolate to try to figure that out. So you really, really don't know. What's going on in the overall environment is that Microsoft's made a big push for Game Pass, which is their subscription. So they bought Activision and they started giving away Call of Duty for free to all those subscribers. So obviously, year over year, you're going to see Call of Duty sales drop every year as Game Pass gets bigger. We had everybody in the gaming space avoid Grand Theft Auto, which was supposed to come out in fall of 2025. So people planning a year ago decided to push their titles out, and they actually pushed them out to spring of 26. So we're going to have a big spring of 26, April, May, really big. And then, of course, GTA got delayed. It's coming out in the fall of 26. So you're going to see probably a record year for the last 10 in 2026, not higher than the peak year 2011, but much, much bigger than 2016 through 25. So good year for software. Again, subscription becomes a big deal. Netflix is making a big push to be the connected TV provider of games, and that is actually going to happen. I don't know that they're going to win, but they're positioned to win. They have a smart guy running games. They have a lot of money, and when they lose the bid for Warner Brothers, they'll have a lot of money left over to focus on building their games business.
Well, yeah, and let's talk about Warner Brothers and Netflix and Paramount right now. From your vantage point, what's the most realistic end game here, and where do you see the biggest investor confusion arising?
Well, the Warner Brothers board sued into oblivion is the most likely outcome. I have no idea how a board with a straight face can tell shareholders to take an $83 billion offer instead of a $108 billion offer. I didn't major in business in school. I do have an MBA, but last I checked, 108 is a bigger number than 83. So I don't understand this at all. Their idea that, oh my goodness, Paramount doesn't have the financing lined up. What the hell is wrong with them? Larry Ellison guarantees $40 billion. He'll get the other, whatever it is, $60 billion. It's really silly, and I have to believe there's something going on with Warner Brothers board and Netflix. And I don't think Netflix would ever do anything wrong, but I think the Warner Brothers board has already demonstrated they'll do something wrong. So the outcome of this is Paramount wins. I don't even get why we're talking about the drama, and we're going to see the Warner Brothers board apparently reject the Paramount bid today, and then they're going to get sued into oblivion. Even if they accept the Netflix bid, I think that the government blocks the deal, and not because Trump is friends with the Ellisons, but because Netflix is trying to define the market as how we consume all filmed entertainment. So they're including YouTube in there, not YouTube TV, but regular old YouTube and TikTok. They're nuts. The market is streaming, and the streaming market is number one and number four are Netflix and HBO, number one and two by profit, and the two of them combined are bigger than the rest of the industry combined. So taking over 50% share of streaming gives them tremendous leverage over content and tremendous leverage over subscription pricing. So the government's gonna block it because it's the right thing to do. And hey, mark that in the column of, not on your bingo card. The government's gonna actually do the right thing and block this merger because it doesn't make sense for consumers or content providers.
Yeah, I appreciate your candor there. Let's shift gears, talk Sony. You've been critical of their leadership recently, and I'm just wondering, what if you had to name one strategic fix for them in the new year, what would that be?
Sony?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, on PlayStation or on film and rest of business. I'm sorry, I don't.
Oh, let's tackle both if we got time. Yes.
They lost their way on movies a long time ago. Their television unit's actually quite good. The gaming unit has gone all in on selling more consoles, and Microsoft, by kind of pulling away from the console business, gave Sony an opening to not cut price. So, here we are, 5 full years into the launch of the PlayStation 5, and prices are higher than the launch price. Now, obviously, some of that is due to Trump, but, tariffs. but this is just unprecedented that we haven't seen console prices decline. So Sony's selling a kind of a weak number of consoles, but they think they're winning because Microsoft's selling virtually none. I think the console business is going away. It'll be a niche business like 3D televisions. There'll still be people who buy them, like turntables for listening to music. There are people who will buy them. But ultimately, we're going to get everything, on connected TV, and Sony is just not part of that. Their acquisition strategy has been downright stupid. They bought Bungie for $3.6 billion. Just to compare and contrast, EA bought Vince Zampella, the late Vince Zampella's Titanfall maker Respawn for $450 million. So Sony is just ridiculously overpaying for things. Bungie's produced nothing that has worked. The console business is dying, and they don't have a backup plan.